Welcome to my channel. My name is Freya. Enjoy listening. The Forgotten Forest. Alexei had long heard the stories about the Forgotten Forest. People said that those who entered its depths vanished forever. Young and brave, he did not believe in these old superstitions. One cool autumn evening, he decided to prove to everyone that the fears were just myths. Gathering the necessary items and saying goodbye to his friends, Alexei set off into the forest. At the entrance, he was met by towering trees, their branches seemingly reaching out to him, with the muted light of the moon filtering through the dense foliage. Silence surrounded him, interrupted only occasionally by the rustling of leaves underfoot. The deeper he went, the heavier the air became. It seemed as though the forest itself was watching him. Alexei felt a slight shiver, but continued on. He stumbled upon an old, abandoned cabin that looked as if it hadn't been visited in decades. Its windows were broken, and the doors creaked in the wind. Alexei decided to enter and check if there was anything of interest inside. Inside the cabin, darkness reigned. Cobwebs covered the corners, and the floor creaked under his steps. Suddenly, he heard a faint moan coming from the depths of the cabin. Squinting, Alexei noticed a staircase leading to the basement. His heart began to beat faster, but curiosity got the better of him. He slowly descended. The basement was dark and cold. Alexei fumbled for a flashlight and illuminated the room. In the corner, he saw an old chest covered in dust. When he approached closer, he noticed that strange symbols resembling ancient runes were engraved on it. Opening the chest, he found an old book inside. The book was in a tattered state, its pages yellowed with age. As soon as Alexei started flipping through it, strange things began happening around him. Shadows on the walls started to move, and ghostly figures emerged from them. They approached him, whispering in an unknown language. Suddenly, he felt a cold touch on his hand and heard a whisper right in his ear. "Why did you come here?" In terror, Alexei tried to break free, but his legs seemed glued to the floor. The book fell from his hands, and the ghosts surrounded him, forming a circle. He felt the cold seep into his bones, and his mind began to fog. Alexei knew he had to do something, but fear paralyzed him. Suddenly, a figure flashed before his eyes, an old woman with kind but sorrowful eyes. She reached out her hand to him and whispered, "Trust me, I will help you escape." Gathering his last strength, Alexei grabbed her hand. In an instant, he was enveloped in bright light, and he felt the ghosts retreat. When he came to, Alexei found himself at the edge of the forest. His friends, worried about his long absence, had found him and brought him home. He tried to tell them about what had happened, but they only shook their heads, thinking it was a figment of his imagination. However, Alexei knew that what he had experienced was real. Every time he passed by the Forgotten Forest, he felt the piercing gaze of dark forces on him. He never dared to enter its depths again, but the stories of the Forgotten Forest continued to be passed down from generation to generation, warning all of the horrors hidden within.